Hey guys, another situational reading. I just threw some cards and pulled some oracle and we'll see. So I've got 3 cards here. Please take what resonates and leave the rest. This is my ghost tarot. Not the cute one, but the one that's with ghost in it. More human ghost. I have the 5 of Cups. I have the 5 of Swords in reverse, and then I have the... I have to look at this because it doesn't say, but... Oh, that's the King of Cups in reverse. Okay. Oh. Okay. I don't know why I was thinking it was like the Emperor. Whoops. I have the King of Cups in reverse. Sorry. I saw the Emperor there, but that might be a message. I'll get to that. So what do I see? The 5 of Cups is kind of a... It doesn't have to be a sad card. It's just that someone feels like things are over. I mean, he's waving somebody off in this card, so it looks like for one of you, well, I say one of you, I don't know how many of you are watching have experienced a recent loss. And the loss it could be death, but it doesn't have to be just because it's a ghost deck. That boat is leaving and going into the great beyond and the light and everything. So it makes me think that some of you could have lost somebody recently, and it's kind of tearing you up inside because I feel like there's a lot of emotion here with it being somebody that you were related to. I can't say I understand. I haven't lost a direct parent. I've lost grandparents, but I didn't get the chance to be close to them. I hope that makes sense to some of you. Like, some people grew up with grandparents that were really super close and they did things together, and I lost my maternal grandparents both to cancers when I was young. I didn't get that chance. I got to spend very little time with them before they went. Like, my grandfather died when I was 2 years old, so I don't even remember him. My grandmother, I remember her vaguely, but she died before I was even 10, I think. And she had a horrible ovarian cancer, and I vaguely have a few memories. They're getting really fuzzy the older I get, but memories of her, comforting me during a storm when we went to visit her, and she was a good grandmother. Like, she cared. She showed a lot of love, and I have good memories of her. But I don't have very many, and the only other memory I have of her is actually a dream, a visitation after her death, where she came to me, and she gave me a hug and told me, I know it's been a long time. And then I woke up going, whoa, yeah, it's a long time. Like, you're dead. I was a teenager when I had that dream, and she had been gone for years at that point. But it was very meaningful to me, and I appreciate it. I love that dream because I hadn't got to see her, and I guess I had wondered if they loved me or not. And the truth is, yes, of course they do. Because you're like, well, I didn't get to spend much time with her. Well, like, how do I know, how they felt about me? And I can only hope that they're watching me grow up, and now I'm a woman, and, I hope they're proud of the accomplishments. I hope they're proud of what I'm doing now, that I'm kind of finding my own way. And somehow I feel like, yeah, like she is. She's pretty feisty when she comes through readings, though. That was her. She was a strong woman. But I get the feeling that my situation, like, I can't speak to, like, if I lose a parent, it would be really bad. I try to be close to my parents, and I love them very much. But I no matter how much you try to prepare for something like that, it's never easy. And you think you're going to handle it, and then you could completely go off the rails. And I completely understand that. So I sympathize if you've lost somebody close to you, but I feel like somebody's lost a parent here, or someone who was like a parent. It could have been a grandparent too. If it was somebody who raised you, who was close to you, definitely a parental type figure, then I want to say, like, with the 5 of Cups, this is somebody that you were very close to. For those of you who did lose somebody, as in to death, somebody passed on, you're waving goodbye to them, but you have mixed feelings on it. That's what the 5 of Cups is telling me. There's mixed feelings on it because things, things weren't perfect. And I don't know how to, how do I say that? It's more than things not being perfect. You and I, we know. You've grown up with someone who has been kind of, people grow up with people, narcissist, and abusive sometimes, but sometimes you grow up with someone who is, okay, but maybe they have these tendencies. So they're not an actual narcissist, but they have the tendencies. Or you end up being, having to live around somebody who isn't a good communicator. And so the way they communicate can come off as verbally and emotionally abusing, whether they intend it or not. Some people don't realize, they're stuck in their ways and this is how they are. And you're saying goodbye to them and you're showing them the love, but at the same time, there's a little love over here, but you're very conflicted too. You're upset because maybe you feel like things didn't get resolved. And in some cases, you're not going to get things resolved. You're not going to get closure, especially with someone who thinks that they're always right. And they think the way they did things was the right way and the only way, and nobody's going to convince them otherwise. Let me tell you, when they die and move on, when this person has moved on, I think they're going to get an inkling of, okay, maybe I was a bit harsh, but they're not going to know, if they approach things the right way or the wrong way until they get to the other side. Because if they're not going to consider your feelings in this matter, then you got to wait for them to be corrected by spirit. And I think spirit sorts people out. Especially after death. It's like, hey, guess what? This picture is very dark except for this beautiful light at the end down there. And it's like they're going into the great beyond. And it's a quite beautiful picture. And you can tell it's all lit up. And this guy's waving goodbye. But it's kind of sad. But there's still love there. And that's why I say he's conflicted. Because for some of you, this person, you've kind of had a strained relationship, if that's fair to say. You can love someone and feel strained and not agree with them and not share beliefs with them, and they can drive you nuts because maybe they have pushed their beliefs on you. Maybe they have not communicated well, and that includes fighting and arguing with you, and maybe they've said things that they shouldn't have said that are hopefully they regret. They haven't listened to you, and they didn't want to understand you, and they didn't make the effort to. People do this to each other, and it just creates a domino effect, and I get it. But I want you to know, now that they're gone, let me just tell you, if this person had a big parental type impact on you, there's a chance that you could turn out like them. And you're like, no, I don't want to ever be like my parents or this person who raised me. I'm not ever going to be like them. Never say never, because I'm watching it happen now in my own family. And, there's a parent who does that, who's done that. And I've seen the way one parent didn't get along with their parent, and it affected their relationship and it strained it. And then that parent, the grandparent passed on. And then the parent, I don't know. They don't show a lot of sadness over it. It's like you miss them or you don't. Maybe in some ways it was relief. I don't know. But at the same time, now the parent and the children, I've noticed that the parent is becoming their parent and the children are not having it. It's like you got to break these cycles, people. Break that ancestral cycle. As I see it in own, I have a sibling who now treats my, I have a niece, and I noticed, I've noticed over the years that she's been treated kind of like I remember being treated by my family, like how we've been treated by our own parents at times. And I see these things happening. I'm like, okay, but this is what strained, the siblings' relationship with a parent. And now her, her own offspring is not going to want anything to do with her when she gets older. I can already see this happening. And, I've already had a sibling that, my sibling would go, it's funny because my sibling would go to another family member to discuss the problems within the family. And it's like, I hope that my sibling realizes that her offspring is going to do the same thing. I'm sorry, your kid's not going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to go to another family member because you're so harsh on them. Much like your parent was on you. and their parent was on them. Do you see what I'm going with here? So, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to use names and stuff, but, because I don't, I do love my family, but there's things that have to be worked out, and some of them don't realize what they're doing. We're all a work in progress. So that's why I'm in therapy, and that's why I stick with therapy. If there's not the right person, if you're in therapy for life, like, you shouldn't be. My therapist said that it's the goal is that I'm supposed to put her out of business. And she is getting close to discharging me because I'm doing so well in learning to deal with the things that I have to deal with, because there's not a perfect resolution in there. And sometimes you just have to accept that people are the way they are. If they're not willing to change, well, all you can do is, you can love them, but you can set boundaries and you can stay away from them. You could do your own thing and let them be. If they're like wondering, like, oh, gee, why don't people come around? Well, and we've had that, we've had questions about that. People are wondering why my sister doesn't come around certain people. My sibling doesn't want to come around one of those parents because there's conflict there, and nobody seems to get it, and nobody's willing to sit down and talk about it. It just led to a screaming match, and then boom, things are done. Not to give away too much on like what goes on. Our family's not perfect, but most families aren't. I just think someday things might work out for the better, but you got to give it time. And you got to give people growth. They have to go through stuff and grow before they understand things, and I'm starting to understand that myself. If people want to change, they will. If they won't, then I'm staying away from it because I don't need the drama. I just like my life being uncomplicated if possible. But I've got to say, so that's where the Five of Cups is coming in. You notice the Five of Swords is reversed. Getting some more to drink here. Oh, it's almost all gone. Okay, it's good. Good. So, you notice that the Five of Swords being reversed, there's a rainbow and there's a storm back here. And I'll turn it up here. It's right side. So if you notice, look at that. You've got this lush green grass and there's calm water in the background. The rainbow's coming out as the storm pushes off to the east or to the future, whatever you want to call it. But the storm's clearing and the blue skies are coming out, which is fantastic. And this guy, he's standing and he's smiling. I think some people could say it's a smug smile, but to me it kind of looks like, he's smug because he feels like he won. Well, this is in reverse, so I'm not going to look at it as complete opposite. I try not to. What do I see in this? I see that with the loss of this person, whether, and I'm sorry if I haven't addressed those of you who maybe didn't lose a person through death, but maybe you lost a person as in you cut them off because of boundaries were being violated, or they're not somebody you'd want to be around because of their attitude or their beliefs, whatever it is that they're doing. You just don't want to be around them. I get it. So for all of you, whether this loss, you're kind of grieving. It's like a grief related to loss, whether it's death or not, it's still a loss. So some of you, though, I think are feeling the Five of Swords is in reverse because you feel relief. That's why the rainbow's out. The storm's in the background here, but it looks like the storm is moving in. So I think that you're worried that there's going to be a storm because this person may push back and try to push back into your life. They may try to force their way in or, bully their way in, and you're not having it. So don't. This person, but the rainbow's coming out, and I love that these two spirits, maybe they feel like they lost. This guy feels like he won, but on this side, I feel like they came to a peaceful agreement, and the two spirits are walking away. He set the boundaries. The swords look like a boundary in front of them, right? So, he's got them right in front of those two spirits. So, they're not behind him. They're just right there. So, with them being, those swords being planted like a fence right in front of those people, I feel like he set a boundary and said, you need to respect me. You need to respect that this is my life, this is how I want it. If you're not going to follow the rules A, B, and D or whatever, then see your way out. So, this person probably found a way to tell them. And this is what the swords are about, communication. Use your voice. That blue sky coming out and the rainbow, that's where he's He's vocalizing his throat chakra. He's saying, I'm going to set this boundary with you guys. I want, I love you. I want you in my life. But if you're going to be like this, if you're going to continue to do these things, don't do them around me. We can visit, but don't do this stuff around me. If you do, then I'm not going to want to visit with you anymore. And if these people aren't respecting it, look at them. They're walking away. And he can still be happy, because even if it's not the best outcome, this person has made themselves at peace. That's why he's got the rainbow and the green grass. He's like, you know what? I stood my ground, and my rainbow's coming out, and I'm doing well for myself. And you know what? It's sad because I don't get to talk to these people, but you know what? My life is more uncomplicated. No drama. They don't have to worry about it. If they want to come around, they know what they have to do. So for those of you still dealing with this, set those boundaries. And for those of you who have lost due to death, you can find some type of closure and peace, and that, it's over now. This person is passed on. They're not going to be worrying about worldly things anymore. They're moved on to a whole other afterlife, and they've got things to do over there. They're not going to have a lot of time to be dealing with any of this. So you don't have to worry about it. It's almost like, you know what, that's not important anymore. So everything's okay. There's your rainbow after the storm. It's not going to flood your life anymore. Let it go. So you can let it go. But it also says that you're feeling at peace because once they passed on, you don't have to deal with it anymore. Because this person is permanently out of your life. So if they were causing you a lot of problem, no matter how you feel about it, you can find peace in the fact that they've moved on and you don't have to deal with it anymore. But the thing I wanted to mention about people becoming like their parents or whoever raised them, yeah. Watch yourself on that, because you say, oh, I'm never going to be like that. Never say never, because you don't realize how easy it is to slip into that. We all do it. So don't slip into acting like your parents or, your aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever it is, anybody that raised you, grandparents or, foster parents, it doesn't matter. The people who raise you have a profound influence on you. So just make sure that if they didn't have the best communication and they didn't treat you that well over the years, you don't pay attention to that. I would say seek counseling, seek therapy. Just a suggestion. If not, there's plenty of self-help books out there, or you can attend tarot and be like, oh, okay, I need to watch for this. Like, hey, whatever works for you. But you have the King of Cups in reverse. And I think this speaks to your future. This speaks to you now. You don't have to worry about this person anymore. You said goodbye, you showed them love, and now you've done what you need to do. This is you forgiving yourself or forgiving them or however you want to do it. But you're doing it for you, because you may not ever get that from them. So do it for yourself and learn, hey, not everybody's going to be like that. Learn to be different. Use that experience to show love and kindness and generosity, and make sure you communicate in a respectful and healthy manner to those around you, because you want your own family to love you and to want to come to you and not to treat you that way. And this is your warning, at least in this term, is that it's in reverse. And the reason I said Emperor at first is I thought that's what it was. But also, the first thing that came to me is the Emperor reversed is somewhat of a dictator. He's controlling. He's controlling, and he can be kind of bitter, and, he's very strict. You don't want to overdo all that. So don't become like that. So that's just what I want to say on that. And let me see. I still have my drink here. Sorry if you can hear anything in the background. I'm trying not to let anybody interrupt. But, so don't be like this person. Okay? Don't be a reverse Emperor. But also, the King of Cups is somebody who, he tends to be very quiet and full of love, but being in reverse, I would say this is somebody who, maybe is becoming more bitter, or, maybe don't let those feelings of what that person may have caused you to overflow into your life, into your heart, because that overflows into the people you love. And then they might find you to be a bitter person that's controlling and strict and not nice, and you don't want to be known as that. So this card is urging you to love more. Definitely love more. Anyway, so that's what I want to say on that. Don't be a reverse King of Cups. Let's turn it upside down. We want to spin it so that you are somebody that's strong, but you have a lot of love and you know to control your emotions so that you come off in a healthy manner when you communicate. So, your cards. Oh, hold up. Sorry about that. I had to pause it. The dog wanted to come say hi to me. Okay. Weird. Okay. Don't mean to be rude. See? Every time, interruptions. I had a feeling. So your card is love. And that's exactly what I just said. Don't be the reverse King of Cups. The King of Cups is somebody who's strong and loving. Be love. He knows how to hold his emotions in check, but he knows how to love. And he's not going to, blow up or scream at people. Like, he's not going to get out of control. So this is somebody, who's unbalanced. So don't be unbalanced. Don't let that bitterness get to you. Change comes with you. You can break the cycle, that familial cycle, that ancestral cycle, whatever it may be, where you see it happen time and time again. Time to break it. So break it. Show that love all the time. Let that love come from your heart. And every time you start to feel a certain way or feel bitter, just remember, you ask yourself, do I want to be like that person? Hell no. So show that love instead. Do the opposite of what they would do. Adjustments are required. Third quarter moon. Yeah, I was born under a third quarter moon. But adjustments are required. I love it's a beautiful image. And yeah, you're going to have to adjust. It's not easy to do, especially if you've had this person influencing you for so many years of your life, especially if they were part of your raising. I get it. You showed them love. You sent them off into the wild beyond, and you're a little conflicted over it, and you've got to learn to forgive yourself. You got to learn to forgive them, or find whatever works for you, because whatever they did, you're going to have to find your own closure, because you're not going to get it. But knowing that, they have other things to deal with. So if they're not dealing with it in the afterlife, why do you need to be stuck, constantly reminding yourself of it here? Don't dwell on it. Find a way to make peace with it and let it go. And then adjust. Adjust so you don't become bitter. Adjustments are required, but continue to love. Inner child healing. Yeah. If this person raised you, you need some inner child healing, so maybe look into that. I don't know a lot about it myself. Sorry. I'm still learning a lot of different divinations, modalities. There's so much out there to learn, and one thing at a time. Tarot has been my main focus for quite a while now, so I would say inner child healing. Whatever that needs. But you know what? It's time for you to enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. Get back in touch with your childhood. But instead of, having a strict childhood, being told what to do and not do, and not being allowed to have fun or be a kid, if that's what happened, it's time to do that. Allow yourself some time to be a kid. You can be an adult any other time of the week, but give yourself time. Make it the weekend. Be like, all right, Saturday, I want to go to the zoo and make funny faces at the monkeys. Go ahead. Or, go to museums, or, go watch a ball game. I don't know, whatever you want to do. There's so much to do. Go to the science museum and do stuff, but spend time. If you've got kids of your own, that's when you need to get goofy with them and let them be goofy. Let them be kids. It's good for them, but it heals you too. So allow that inner child to come out. Have fun, be spontaneous, be playful. That's the card. That's what it's telling you to do. And speaking of that, Amber. Number 15. I love it. It's kind of a weird color for me, but it says awaken your creativity. 15 reduces to 6. That's the Lover's card. The original Lover's card was called the Lover. So it can be either way. Duality, choices, partnership. But instead of being about that, it's about love. But it doesn't have to be a love of another person. This is more about you loving yourself, loving your inner child, healing it, and awakening your creativity. I think that's just speaking to what I just mentioned about that inner child healing. It's time to be spontaneous, be playful, have fun, be goofy, laugh a lot, do things that help. Go do some art, or take a walk, or join your kids on the playground. Be an adult and swinging in a swing is still fun. It's still fun. That'll take you back. If you're a guy, might be a bit weird, so make sure you take your kids with you or something. A single guy on that would just look, I know it looks bad, so, but take some friends with you or something, where you're just a group of people hanging out and getting in touch with your inner child, you know? Just be like, oh, I just got some advice to do this. Like, it's therapeutic for my inner child. You know, that's what you say. But, you know, just go have fun. Go do something and get back into nurturing those relationships that you have. Show a lot of love. Show that friendship. Open up. Be vulnerable. Talk to people. You know, play games again. Like, game nights are like the best. And you know what? You're an adult. You can have you can make some really great food, you know, get some chicken wings, whatever you want. Sit back and, you know, get some food and then have some beers and play, you know, some cranium or something. Something where you just have fun again. And I gotta tell you, there's been no other thing that's been more fulfilling than doing that. But I hope that helped. So I hope you get in touch with your inner child soon and that you learn to have fun. All right, bye.